Hey Time Slicers, welcome to Slice Squad Spills. I'm your host, Nikki Wildflower. I went from a basement apartment to a multiple seven-figure empire. Now I'm here to share how you can do it too.
Hi, we're in here.
Yeah, we are. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Hi.
Hi.
Another chaotic day, right? Not really though. I'm vibing.
I'm vibing.
So today, this is going to be a really great episode. It is just me and Jackie again today because we're not we just never prepare and get guests on here in time. It's not that we don't want to. It's just that we do, but it's okay. It's just that we don't do it. We really need to get better at that.
We should.
I have a list of people that I would love to have on here. There's probably about 14 that I think would just really delight people, but hold on, I gotta spray some of this on my face. I don't know why. You ever just the ADHD urge to just see something and then you have to just touch it
Right away. Yeah, absolutely use it in this exact moment.
Which is why every time I go to clean my closet, I'm just stuck in there for hours because I find things that I haven't seen in a while in my doom bags.
Oh my gosh.
We'll talk about that another time, though.
Maybe magic piles, though? Have you ever
Magic piles? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. So we are going to be talking about marketing today, which I happen to think I'm kind of an expert at. I don't know if you agree, but
I would fully
I think
agree.
I'm doing... Yeah. Because I'm one of those people who just hyperfixates on things, so I can't just do anything half-assed. It's got to be fully me. And the reason why you should listen to me when it comes to this, when it comes to marketing, is because I was able to grow multiple social media accounts completely unrelated. And I was able to build my businesses up to multiple six figures and even seven figures completely organically without any paid ads or anything like that, just utilizing social media and the power of connections. Okay. So we are going to, not to toot my own horn, but freaking toot. And I didn't reinvent the wheel though. Other people, I learn from people. I always hire mentors. Right now I don't freaking have one. I need a new mentor. I'm looking.
Ooh, Nikki's on the market. Who wants to take her
I'm on the market for a mentor, and I'm thinking big leagues. You know what I mean?
Maybe hire Hormozy when you think about it.
I don't think he does that. Otherwise, I would.
Okay.
I don't think he does that without acquiring your company, and I'm not ready to be acquired even partially yet. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So somebody asked me to be on their podcast today and just was I've seen you be so consistent on social media through the years. And that's how I built my businesses, right? Just by having that consistency. Now, you used to be one of those people who really did not feel inclined to post on social media. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. I had no direction. I just didn't know what people would want to see. And then every time I did post, it would be me doing yoga to a song. And I would expect to maybe gain some momentum with that and just crickets from that. So I had no direction. And I was, even just watching your content, I'm I don't even understand the thought process behind it, but it's powerful. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around marketing and showing myself, being seen, being authentic on social media. I had 17 different Instagram accounts for different personalities in my life. And so that's kind of where I was. Yeah, 100%.
Do you feel most people just kind of don't know where to start? Because I want to kind of answer this from let's say you were starting from scratch. What questions would you ask me? I kind of want to go through your thought process because you have really transformed in this category. And it was kind of a slow evolution. I think I just maybe got in your head over time. Because I think people also have this preconceived notion, if I'm going to be on social media, I'm definitely not one of those people who's in your face, wants to be seen, wants to be on camera, this, that, and the other thing. If you actually know me in person, I'm kind of reserved.
She doesn't really talk that much in a group of people. You're really more of a one-on-one connection type of person.
Yeah. So I don't really I'm not really going to speak unless I have something extremely valuable to add to the conversation. Most of the time I'm just an observer, but I will, and I am kind of reserved. Like I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm shy, but I'm not like in your face either. I'm not super bubbly or anything like that. But that being said, so the first time I got on camera, obviously it was a shit show. Like I was an actual potato. I say it all the time. So I look back on those videos and I'm like, that's a joke. But I remember listening to a podcast and I don't even remember who it was at this point. But when I started posting consistently on social media, it was around 2017 when I opened my studio, and that came out of necessity. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to do this. Like,
Gotta
what
market.
else am I gonna do? I got myself into this freaking shithole. I'm in so much debt. How am I gonna do this? So I just put myself out there. And the first time that I put my face, I started with voiceovers, I would say, and like still photos. Well, first, and then over time and regular pictures. And then over time, I was like, okay, I know I got to do like at least a voiceover or something. And then before you know it, I'm like ready to put my face on camera, but not ready. Scared shitless, put my face on camera. It's horrible. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get better at this because I say this all the time. When is the last time that you did something for the first time and you just aced it immediately?
I'm like one of those people who never aces anything. I think most people are
Nobody
actually
does.
one of those people who doesn't ace. You know those people though that are like naturally really athletic and they like try a new sport for the first time and they like slay and you're like, okay. Well,
I am a little one of those people though. Like I'm not like I'm pretty mediocre at most things the first time I try them. Not like amazing, but not as bad as a lot of people. So like if I try a new sport or a board game or something like that, I usually am like from a beginner standpoint, I usually start at a little bit of an advantage, but videos was not one of those things.
You know, it's hard for me at this point, I think, to remember like the evolution. I remember you did a lot of still posts like when you had your studio, but I don't even like remember where you started when it came to like doing voiceovers. I can't even recall those videos or those reels or whatever. They weren't even reels at the time,
Where
right?
did that come from? I think it came from being sassy because people started saying like, no, they weren't even videos. They were just, I mean, they weren't reels. They were just videos. I think it came from me being sassy. Like people would say shit, like mean stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to have to stand up for myself here. So I would just start doing voiceovers and get a little like jiggy with it in the voiceover. And then before you know it, I sucked and then I sucked less and I just stayed with it. And then eventually I was like, I'm more natural speaking in front of a camera, I think, than I am like speaking with somebody face to face.
It's like your norm.
It's my norm. When I talk to someone face to face, I'm like, don't look at me that close, okay? Because what if I need a little slice of gum, or what if you notice that I have a beard? I've expressed this before, or that I haven't waxed my eyebrows in like 3 years,
Same. And
and
then
my
it's like they're
unibrows growing
peering,
back in.
they're peering into your soul, making eye contact. I get that a lot with people in person where I'm like, wow, I feel like you're looking beyond my eyes, peering into my soul, and now I'm looking in the corner. So yeah, I agree. Actually, at this point, I do better talking to a camera. But it was an evolution. So like where I started was, where do I start? And I think that's everyone. Like, where do I even start? What do I even say? If I'm going to do a voiceover, what do I say? Like, hey. So my first voiceover is hilarious, actually. I made on Canva like a reel with the most words you could ever have on a reel, like the most words ever. And I actually remember your feedback for me. I sent it to you and you're like, it's really long. Like my voiceover doesn't match the words on the reel and it's so long. There's no way anyone could have read it and listened to it and comprehended. And my voiceover's like, hey everyone, my name's Jackie and I teach ethical massage. I'm a massage therapist. It's robotic potato energy and so not me, but you know what? It did. It like
You
broke
did it.
it broke the barrier of me being like, I can't put my voice or my face on social media. So
The only way to get over that fear is to do it. And that's every fear in life. Even when it comes to like getting on an airplane. I used to be terrified. I used to not get on an airplane. And then I just started doing it more. And then I wouldn't get on an airplane alone. I was like, okay, I'll get on a plane, but I'm not going by myself. And then now we're just like all over the place. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm terrified of everything naturally, but the only way to get through fear, and a lot of this is what I learned going through cognitive behavioral therapy for OCD myself. The only way to really get over a fear is to like just plow through it over and over again and desensitize yourself to it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm like, not
and
exposure therapy.
it's
It is
exposure
though.
therapy.
Yeah.
And that is literally like how you get good at things is to be really massively uncomfortable until you're not, because you're going to suck. Even when we have people going through our extension certification or like learning new things or start posting on social media, they're like, I just feel like I'm not that good at this. And I'm like, because you're
Right.
not.
Yeah. Right. You're not
Because you
good.
suck, and you need to give yourself permission to suck.
Yeah.
The people expect these overnight successes when it comes to social media. I'm like, it's going to take years and years of consistency. And that's really, really hard for people to even like come up with the ideas, which is why in our consulting firm, here's a list of content hooks, because not to like plug our consulting firm, but I'm plugging our consulting
Plug
firm
it directly in.
what we do is we just, when it comes to hair, when it comes to business, when it comes to mindset, when it comes to extensions are hair. Yeah. When it comes
Bringing
to all
in
that,
clients, retaining your clients.
the whole
Like,
nine.
yeah.
We try to make everything as easy for you as we possibly can. Like I did all like the pounding the pavement, like screwing up 1,000 times so that you don't have to. But you're still going to suck a little bit. You'll get better and better and better and better. It's just a matter of creating the consistency and the repetition, because it takes like 100 times to get good at something.
And I'm still not there yet with like voiceovers and face forward. Like I don't feel like I've mastered it, but I look at my content now and I feel proud of it. I'm like, okay, that one slayed. Sometimes they don't slap. Sometimes they don't hit. No one likes them, and that's okay too. But I'm just learning. And honestly, so my reach in the year of 2023, since I started posting about ethical massage, which wasn't until probably like February or March, I've organically reached 11,000 people. That's a lot with just speaking to the audience, like being clear on who I'm talking to, what problem I'm solving, what sort of value I want to offer to my specific audience. I've reached thousands of massage therapists now. So it really does work. It's just, yeah, it sucks at first because it's uncomfortable and it's new and it's uncomfortable. That's really mostly why it sucks. That's it.
You
Yeah.
have come a really long way. And what I always tell people is in a year from now, you should look back at your posts from the previous year and think that they suck.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of just relish in the fact that you're getting better. And then think about where you could be in another year from now and then in 10 years. Even when I started doing extensions, which was not that long ago, I'm like, I'm not good at this at all. Like I suck. But I was excited about it because I'm like, here I am giving myself permission to suck at a new thing. And I like that. Nothing makes me happier than that. So I sat there with my mannequin and I applied and I installed and uninstalled. At this point, I'm at 87 times of just installing, taking out, and reinstalling on my mannequin. That's how obsessive I get because I know the importance of repetition and consistency.
Are you
And so-
tallying? Are you like tallying? How do you know you're
Yeah.
at 89?
Yeah, because there's something like wrong with me internally. I know that, but it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. So like the first thing that we tell people is the main thing. I look at people's social media all the time, like businesses, and it's just like a passion of mine to be like, here's some tweaks that I would make. So I'm like, can I just give you some like unsolicited advice? Is it okay? And people are usually like, yeah, anything. And I'm like, okay, so you're actually like every post of yours is just promoting your business and it doesn't add value at all to the person who's watching it. So think about as a consumer, if all you're seeing is like a picture of nice hair or a picture of somebody at a spa getting a massage or a picture of somebody getting lashes, what does that do for you? It doesn't do anything. Like you're not going to stop and you're like, oh, that's cool. That's pretty. Next,
Nice.
next.
Cool.
What value are you adding? And know exactly who you're talking to. Like I'm just talk to that only one person, that hypothetical one person. It's more than one person, but all you need to do is pretend you're talking to one person and that's your ideal customer. No one else matters. So you figure out who that person is and figure out what problem that they have that you solve for them that hasn't been solved for them in the past. And then you only talk to that person over and over and over again and solve problems for them and add value for them. And when it comes to adding value, what adds value? Entertainment. So funny, right? What else adds value? Education, right? What else adds value? Inspiration. So those are a few of the ones that I could think of off my head. I think there's another pillar of value adding as well. But
Maybe like
so
connection. Would that be one?
I don't think that that's one of the pillars, but the goal of social media is not automatically, but you're not wrong. The goal of social media is not for people to see your post and automatically like fall into your lap and be like, I saw your post and I'm in love with you and I want to be your customer. It's to like get people to add value for them, make connections, and then maybe they will become your customer if you have a solution to a problem they're experiencing.
Right.
No problem, no business.
Can we do maybe like hypotheticals for like what problem people could solve? Because I think that was a tough one for me too. I knew I wanted to put myself out there in terms of like educational content, and I still like had a hard time converting like what problem I was solving. So like maybe can we like rework or like work a hypothetical someone in a service industry, like what problem they would solve? Like what problem would a tattoo artist solve for someone? You know, I've thought about this before.
Well, it's not that the tattooer is necessarily like solving a problem for somebody. It's what did they do differently that other tattooers don't do. So, for example, for me, if I'm looking for a tattooer, yeah, I want to make sure that their work is quality. But on top of that, if I find one who's like has a way to make it hurt less,
Ooh, so you can make it hurt less.
or if I have somebody who's particularly efficient at tattoos because I don't like sitting for a long time, but it's still the same quality result, I would dive into that. So you think about yourself as a consumer and like what issues you've experienced with specific things in the past. So, for example, for me, anytime I would sit to get my hair done, it would take too long and I'm so antsy. I don't know if you guys know that yet or not, but I can't effing sit still for the life of me. Like my legs are falling asleep right now and I keep shaking them. And I can't sit there, right? And so I solved the problem of timing. I'm like, okay, I can do it faster. And that is a huge issue that a lot of people want solved. So my customer is somebody who doesn't like to sit still for a long time, but still wants to look beautiful and get the same results. So I'm talking to me.
You're talking to yourself.
Then you're who you're talking to from an educator standpoint, since your primary thing is as an educator at this point, you are not trying to attract necessarily massage customers, right?
No, not at all.
So you thought about a common issue within the industry of massage therapists, and you're like, okay, this is what I have learned in my years. This is what I do differently. This is where my headspace was at. This is where my headspace is now. So you want to talk into a little bit what that was?
I guess when it comes to the massage world in general, a couple of things didn't sit right with me, like right from being in massage school. The first one being the information, because I was in a massage school that we learned both Eastern and Western philosophies. So the information was very conflicting that I learned. And then as I actually branched out into the industry, I heard people speaking to their clients in ways that I'm like, what? What? Like, just make sure you take some vitamin C. You know, after I'm like, what? Why do they have to take vitamin C after a massage? I don't understand. I would hear my peers saying that to clients. And then I'd hear, you know, one person say to take an Epsom salt soak, take vitamin C, drink lots of water to flush out the toxins. And then I'd hear someone else say, like, put some ice or heat on it to keep the toxins in or something. So there was so much information that was not really backed in valid science. And that's like pseudoscience just is in the wellness industry. And there's not a lot of research that's been done on like valid science. So that's who I kind of started speaking to. And then as I continued to grow and expand with Slice Squad, I've almost like branched into adding a secondary piece to who I'm speaking to. So I'm speaking to massage therapists who want to take an ethical approach and an evidence-backed approach, but also want to thrive in their practices, right? So like be able to be a great massage therapist and also build and grow their clientele. So it's kind of evolved a little bit from just the educational component to the for science-backed, evidence-backed, client-backed approach to now also how can we help you when it comes to education on marketing and being a business owner, an empowered business owner. because that's another thing that I struggled with a lot. And I learned a lot through Slice Squad. And I see that gap in the industry of like, I said it in the last podcast, like, yeah, you're a great massage therapist. Maybe you have a private practice, but you have no idea how to market and to get people in your chair, or like the client retention piece, that sort of stuff.
And at the end of the day, too, another thing that I notice when it comes to like body workers or people who are really giving back in some kind of way, energetically and in really profound ways, also hairstylists, they'll be like, okay, you start thinking about it like, oh, I don't want to make almost like I don't want to make too much money because
this is
I'm
a
doing
service
this out of
industry
the
and I
kindness.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. No, you're not. It's a business.
No,
You're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You're doing it because you're making a living.
it's your
You
livelihood.
can, it's your livelihood. You deserve to have financial freedom. You deserve that energetic exchange, that money, and you deserve to freaking charge accordingly. Somebody said to me like, "Oh, so we're going to price out our original clients." And I'm like, and we'll talk about this on another episode because it's not really related to marketing. But at the same time, I'm like, some people, yeah, you are going to price out. You have to do that. This is your business. This is your livelihood. You need to continue to grow in it, and they can go elsewhere, and you can lovingly wish them well and keep them in your life if you want to. But you're not, if you make more money, you have more time to like actually volunteer and give back to people and take that time and like devote it where you want to.
Right. And like, honestly, both things are and can be true. I care about my clients and I'm in this industry of giving. Literally every single job that I've ever had is giving and helping people. Right. And that's true. And also I deserve to make money. Why can't both be true? Like that's a mindset shift. It's like both are true. You deserve to make a livable wage and like have cancellation policies in place and not have people no call, no show you, and put boundaries into place and make money and have a good business structure while also really caring about the work that you do. Actually, in an ideal world, those things mesh together. Both are true. Yes. But that is a hard one, I think, for a lot of people in any sort of service industry is like structure and feeling like I'm a salesperson. Yeah, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to do cold calls. It's like, you don't have to do cold calls. Just, both are true. You care. What happened? You spilled your coconut water?
Just a little dribble. Yeah. No big deal.
You're so fidgety that it's like distracting me, Nikki.
I'm sorry, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. People are calling me and texting me, and then so I just put it on Do Not Disturb, and we're gonna be good now for the rest of the time.
There was pure chaos happening. You're like, so tell me a little bit about your evolution of who you were speaking to, and then you're like, bop, 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 making all these noises. I'm like, can't focus. Remember, I have ADHD too.
Yeah,
and you're distracting me.
I do apologize. It's just that my phone was ringing and it was like destroying the quality of the video. So I was just trying to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So when it comes to, let's just backtrack a little bit and get back into the marketing. So I always say like, if you're able to figure out, I help blank with blank and I do this by blank, you solve 90% of the problem. So I help busy women get the hair of their dreams in half the time so that they can go back to living their busy life. I do this by utilizing my time-saving techniques and my rapid installation extension methods. There you go. That's all I need to talk to. Busy people who want to get their hair done fast. Okay?
Yep. Now, what would you say to maybe a hairstylist who feels like they have multiple niches or they want to speak to multiple people? How would you go about, I already know how you would probably go about it, but for the audience, how would you coach someone like that?
I'd probably tell them to have like multiple social medias for different things if that's what they wanted to do, because it doesn't mean that does not mean, like, let's say you are focusing on being an extensionist or you're focusing on just eyelashes and this like very, very specified thing, but you also want to have your hands in other pots. It's going to be harder to grow because specialists make more money, period. Specialists are more sought after, period. So the more niche down you could be, the better. The better it will be for your business, at least in the beginning. That doesn't mean that those are the only people that you are actually connecting with and like helping, but that's the only thing that you're really putting out there on your social media, right? So on your social media, one person. That doesn't mean like I'm never gonna cut a dude's hair again or do a fade. I'm never gonna cut it. I'm never gonna do a fade. I do cut men's hair, but I don't do fades. Like I'm like long hair, that type of thing. But anyway, you wouldn't even know that I cut hair based on my social media.
Right. So you're saying the best way to go about it is to market to the service that you want to specialize in, even when you do offer other services.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then when you grow, you can definitely like get more broad over time. But in the beginning, for a very long time, they say typically, even until you get to like that $1 million a year mark, you're still only talking to one person. And then you go more broad later, and sort of expand out. Most people try to like expand out too soon. They'll be like, oh, I think I'm maxed out here. I think I'm maxed out with this thing. You're not. Take a step back and really think about that. And they're like, okay, so now I'm going to put my hand in another pot instead of continuing to just grow that one thing.
I think that's like such an innate thing for people in general. It's like I started this project and it went well, and I'm just going to leave that one and then just move on to the next thing
And
it's
become
like,
a life
no.
coach. Yeah.
Yeah. Become a life coach. Everyone's a life coach.
We just got to respark the passion with whatever we're doing. So just like a relationship, it's something that you have to work toward. If you're doing the same thing all day, every day, you're going to get bored in time. You need to find ways to like respark that, whether that be educationally, whether that be trying new things. So you'll see me, like I'm always fucking around like, on people's hair. Like I cannot do the same thing over and over again. I'll be so bored. So I have to challenge myself over and over again. And there's always ways to challenge yourself. I'll set a timer, see how fast I could do it. Like I will be like, ooh, let me try to curve this foil and see what happens, With extensions, I'm like, what if I do it this way instead of this way? And so like, I'm just always experimenting and connecting with other people who are passionate. That's huge. So you stay with that one thing. As much as you can niche down, you do. And then you got to get people to actually get their eyes on you. And you got to stay consistent. And people are like, it just feels so tedious. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. The thing is, like, why are you not having fun? You should be showing up as yourself and having a good time.
Right.
Like, why are you thinking about this as a chore? This is something that you love. Don't you want to like help people and speak about it?
Yeah, I'm sure that, well, I'm sure everyone does, right? Like, so I typically ask our clients, like, what if you were to walk into a room and everyone was talking about your trade? Everyone's talking about hairstyling. What would you enter that conversation with and not be able to shut up about? Now talk to that person on your social media. Do that. It's hard for some reason. I think a lot of people like compartmentalize. Well, this is how I show up in real life. And then this is how I show up on my business social media page. It's like, no, show up as the person you show up as in real life on there. And you're going to reach 10 times more people through authenticity too. That's another important piece of marketing, right? Like be yourself.
1000%. You should be, because I remember that when I used to show up, well, when I first started, I thought that I had to be like that really like neat, organized, clean, like pink and fluffy white person who was like, who dressed really nicely and was like, hey guys, so today I'm going to show you this really, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is just not my personality in the slightest bit. Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to do this really nice feathering technique. I'm just going to take these fine little weaves and then I'm going to lay down the foil just like so and paint over it. Thank you for watching my channel. And I don't have it in me. So like that wasn't fun for me when I wasn't showing up as myself. But now like I can show up with stains on my shirt and just say whatever the fuck I want within reason. And it really helped me grow, because most of the stuff that wants to come out of my mouth is like really just out of this world. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if I have like an out of this world thought, I'm like, I'm just going to freaking post it. I don't really care.
I tell people this all the time. Think about the TikToks that like go viral. It's always someone being so insane and silly, and like those thoughts that are in all of our heads. Like, what you realize from watching social media, especially authentic social media, is that you've never had an original thought. Like we're all just human beings. We all have the same like weird thinking patterns. And so when you could just say it out loud and be yourself, it's going to resonate, maybe not with everyone, but with like your people. And you want your people anyway. You don't want to bring in people who you don't want to work with, right?
Yeah. Oh, so, relatable. That's one of the content pillars, I think.
Oh, relatable content. Hashtag relatable content. That's like a whole trending thing.
So, most people have the same thoughts. A lot of people have the same thoughts as you, and a lot of people like experience the same things, and we don't even know because people don't talk about the stuff that we experience, like most of the same stuff. It's kind of crazy. So, just like continue to show up authentically as yourself and yourself, but personify it by 10 times. Show up as a social media as your authentic self and add a little extra flair.
Add a little spark to your personality. So why is that? Can you explain that? Because I'm actually curious.
I'm pretty monotone in real life.
Oh,
And I am a little bit monotoned on social media too. And because of that, that's not going to like really catch people's attention. So I got to make sure that I like say something really bold in the first 5 seconds in order to get them to just stop and hear what the rest I have to say, which is super valuable, what I have to say. But if I just showed up and was like, today I'm going to do this, and which is how I kind of talk in real life, like, hey, what's going on? You know, that's how I talk. But that's not. I give my personality. I give it a little boost up on social media, which is I show up on social media as like the I'm super excited version of myself. Like, oh my god, I'm about to go on vacation. Like my sassiest self. And I always make sure that I just say something that's going to hook people so I can still talk in my voice, like outlandishly. I mean, I
mm-hmm.
could still talk in my monotone voice, but I'm going to say something in the beginning that's just going to be like, like, I think you should quit your job immediately. So they stop. Or I'm going to post like something, or I'm going to take the ugliest part of the hair that I'm doing and post it so that people stop. And then I need them to listen to what the F I'm saying in my freaking monotone voice, which apparently people like my accent, which I think is so weird because it's just Squidward.
Why do you think you sound like Squidward slash Fran? What's her last name again?
Isn't it Fran Drescher? Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher. Who hurt you and told you that?
You know what? People on TikTok are so brutal.
I know.
Every time, if I ever feel like I want to hurt my own feelings, I post on TikTok.
And then people are like, your voice is disgusting.
I mean, people on Facebook are really unhinged too.
I don't really utilize Facebook marketing. I want to step into that, right? But
They're
like,
connected. You just connect them on Meta. It's so insanely easy to do. You connect your Facebook and your Instagram, and then the posts go to both pages. That's all.
she's still learning.
And you could actually connect multiple social media accounts on one and your groups to Meta as well. So, like if you have a Facebook group.
And this is why we learned from Nikki.
Then I tell people, so you know who your audience is. Now, how are you going to hook them? How are you going to get them to stop and listen to what you have to say when they've got a noisy ass room full of people saying the same shit? What's going to make them even want to stop? And look at like viral content. Not that you even going viral is definitely not the goal, because actually that's like the shittiest thing that happens. You end up like a lot of the wrong people end up
Yeah,
coming to you from that.
I've seen that before. I've seen that happen.
Going viral has not done a single good thing. Well, it makes your account grow, but it doesn't actually like a lot of times attract the right people. Some of them. But then there's like people are going to be mean to you when you go viral. And if you're not ready for that, no good. But when you get to the point where you're like, all right, so that was mean, that hurt, that person said I have a big nose, but I just don't, I'm just going to move past that. I don't even get mad about like appearance things at all. It's more when like somebody's talking about when somebody says something about me that's not aligned with my values or who I am as an actual person, it really upsets me. Or if somebody like nothing appearance related hurts me. I think I'm pretty.
Good, as you should.
Yeah.
You are pretty.
So that
So
doesn't
you wait.
that
So you
doesn't
think you're
resonate.
really pretty?
Yeah. That doesn't resonate. That doesn't resonate with me. If somebody says something about my voice, doesn't really bother me. This is my voice. I'm stuck with my voice. If somebody says I'm annoying, that doesn't bother me either. That's not the worst thing I could be. But when somebody's just like, you're a rich piece of shit and like you're not a good person, that doesn't resonate with me, but it definitely triggers something in me where I'm like, am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working through that actually, because that's like a thing. So when somebody says something that like questions my character, like my parenting or the way that I show up as an educator or my intentions or anything like that, that hurts me more. That hurts me more than when somebody says something about my appearance or calls me annoying.
That's fair. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. I feel like you really step into the world in integrity and like do your best. You do a lot of inner work on that, as we all should, as we all do on our team, right? And our community. But like, when you're really working on yourself like that, and then someone comes and tries to slander your being, like your actual character and being and that integrity, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. And it takes everything in me, like, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, we're not going to do that.
It doesn't do
They're not,
anything.
it doesn't do anything. But yeah, it's people that don't, anyone who would ever say something like that about me doesn't know me. No one that knows me would ever think something like that of me. But it doesn't matter. But those are the things that that would like upset me more. Or if somebody is just like, your work is not good, like that type of thing, that hurts a little. That definitely, but it doesn't matter. You put yourself out there and you keep putting yourself out there. You have time. You just need to make the time. So that's why we time block. That's why we do productivity. That's why we block it off. Like, okay, on Mondays, I sit here for 2 hours and all I do is create content. And then I schedule it as much as I can do in those 2 hours.
Again, that's the reality of the situation, is that like most people don't know where to start. And so like maybe have you considered that you need to be resourced? Like you need education to learn how, right? That learning business is just like going to school for becoming a massage therapist or a hairstylist. Like it's equally as important, if not more so, because you can't do the thing, your trade, if you can't bring the people in. So you can't do your job if you don't have people to work with. Learning how to, like learning where to start from people who have been there already and have implemented and learned those tools and can teach them to you so that you don't have to struggle to teach yourself. There it is. And that's a hard one for people too. It's like, I could figure this out. But then what are you doing? Sitting on your couch, ruminating in the thought? Like, I could figure this out, but then you're not.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes we need to work with somebody who can fill those gaps for us.
Yeah.
And I constantly, like when I see a gap or something that I need solved in my life, I seek out help in that area. I don't put it on the people that I'm like friends with or that I know. I'm just like, okay, I am struggling in this area. So for a minute, it was like I would have to do sales calls, and that was hard for me. So what did I do? I hired a mentor. When I didn't know what the next step was in my business, I hired a mentor. When I didn't know how to do Facebook ads, I hired somebody. When I didn't know how to, and all of these things have like contributed to my growth 100%. I dropped money on my breathwork training, like a lot of money. Now I'm looking for another mentor. I'm in a mastermind. So when I'm constantly, I think like that's the other thing too that gets under my skin, because I think that people will get to their destination or their goal 10 times faster if they're willing to invest in themselves. Most people are afraid to do that, understandably so.
It's scary.
But then when somebody's like, I'm not like, I don't want to invest in my business in this way, or I'm not going to do it, or this, that, and the other thing, or why should I pay you that much money? Which I don't even think is an astronomical amount of money. I have invested in so much and gotten so much less than what we give people.
We give a lot.
We give more than what I invested 80,000
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, we do.
I'm being 100% honest with you. Like, it's our heart and soul. When people are like, I don't want to do that, or like, oh, that's a ripoff, it's not worth it. I'm like, how can you look at somebody like me who invests hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in my education and mentorship and think that like I'm just going to spill everything that I know to you for free? How selfish is that?
Yeah. It's
How
absurd.
unfair of an energetic exchange is that?
I love that you got on the energetic exchange train, because it's so true. Everything is an energetic exchange, and money is a part of that. It just is. I was also really scared even to invest in breathwork training outside of, massage school and yoga teacher training, and some like online programs that I've done. That was like the highest investment I've ever made in an education. And it was like so worth it. And I'm so happy I did it. It literally changed my life. So like one decision like that that feels scary, that you're like, I'm going to say yes to myself on this one. I deserve it. Are you willing to invest in yourself? That's what it is. It's not just money. It's like, what does this make possible? It changed my life to say yes to that. I literally, I'm not kidding, I feel like a new person after the breathwork certification training, because I've learned so much more about how to hold space for others. I am more passionate about like getting on calls with people and holding space in that way. I learned more about myself. My nervous system's not in like high response. Like, changed my life. One decision. One thing. High investment, sure. Worth it 100 times over. I would do it 100 times over. So, and SSC people say that all the time. I have 90-day calls with them and they're like, I was so freaking scared to say yes to this. This was maybe the first time I've ever invested in my business like this. And my life is completely changed. I've reworked the entire structure. Like for a lot of people too, because we teach inner work, it just mirrors, like they do that for themselves and then it mirrors back to their families and the people around them. And like one of my favorite things, one of my favorite testimonials is like, my family and I now do the hell yes or hell no thing. Like, is this a hell yes or a hell no for you? Me and my kids. I'm like, I love that so much because it does, like when you do show up for yourself like that, one, you're going to inspire the people around you. Two, you're going to show up as a better version of yourself. And then, yeah, I like the point of like, you're like, yeah, dude, I invested $100,000 this past year in mentorships. So the knowledge that I'm dropping on you comes from a really good place.
Well, it's the same thing too with Alyssa with the extension certification, because she has literally invested $100,000 in getting every certification over the years. She's been doing extensions for like 17 years. And then when somebody's like not willing to invest in themselves, she's like, okay, I invested in myself.
Fair enough. Okay.
I mean, that's how I feel too. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
all right.
like, listen, I know that it's scary. And like, I have invested in myself without even having the resources to do so. And that's gotten to me to where I am now. And at the same time, like, I don't want anybody going hungry because they're making an investment in themselves. So I'm very conscious of that. And that's why we also put nuggets out there for everybody. But if you want the shebang, like if you want to do the damn thing, you're going to pay me for it. And if you want inside of Alyssa's brain, you're going to pay her for it. Do you know how much time, energy, resources, and just like grit and business has gone on in this person's head for years and years and years for them to be able to create something that you can put on someone's head in 7 minutes? Do you understand what went into that? And you want it for free? F you. I'm getting defensive for her.
That's a hell no for me. That's a red light.
Take my money.
And it's what makes the world go around, right? Like we do, like it just is that we live in a capitalistic society. It just is. And that's just the way it works. If we could do the barter system all the time, maybe we would, but that's just not always how it works.
That's not the world that we're living in right now. And and sometimes when I start to like get in that mindset where I'm like, I don't want to be like a shitty rich person. And my therapist is like, but are you a shitty rich person? And I'm like, no. I'm like, all I do is give to people. Like, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I take care of myself, my family. I have like, I can travel whenever I want to. My kids
as
have
you
a good
deserve
life,
to.
Right. But at the end of the day, because I'll even like do this disclaimer, like, no, I don't want to be like, I'm doing well for myself. Like, I don't need any. That's enough. It's enough. And she's like, why do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, because something inside of me is just like, don't be greedy or something like that. And I'm like, but I'm not being. And she's like, how many jobs have you created for like people that you love? And like, how many times have you gotten to fly your friends out to see you and brought them on vacations? Or like, you know, your sister, because you put yourself out there, your sister now gets to work with you, your brother-in-law, your friends, your people that you love. Like now there are 30 something people working with me because I had the like audacity to invest in myself. And, you know, I do deserve.
You deserve to live whatever life you want to live. That's it.
And it makes me happy to be like able to bring other people with me.
I love being here. I'm on the train. Choo choo, baby. I get it. It can be like a mental block shift too. Like, okay, now I am in abundance. But is my mindset still in that weird place? Mine is.
I remember I had a roadblock when I started making 6 figures. I stopped like charging. When I initially like first made 6 figures behind the chair, no, multiple 6 figures, I then got this weird roadblock that like, okay, anything more than that and I'm a shitty person. And I didn't know I thought that. There was just something subconsciously in me that thought that. So I started like giving stuff out for free.
Yep. It's like a belief system.
And then I started getting around people who were like making millions. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I have some kind of a block here. I'm aware of that now. And then I did it again. Once I started making millions, I did it again. And I'm like, I keep putting up these subconscious roadblocks for myself.
The message will keep showing up until you actually become self-aware enough. Like the lessons just keep happening until you're self-aware enough to be like, oh, wait, this is a weird pattern. I've experienced this thought before. Where did it come from? Like, how can I question it? How can I rewire this thought? I had it with spending money on myself.
Yeah.
Like, finally have money for the first time in my life. Have always been in ridiculous amounts of debt my whole life. Finally out of debt, finally have money. Couldn't spend it. Left it in a savings account. Didn't want to touch it ever.
Like just
Only
hoarding
would
it.
hoarding it, but also would be generous to other people. So I would give. I would like buy someone a flight or get a gift for Joe or, anything that anyone else wanted or needed. But never, I wouldn't buy myself like the pair of Doc Martens that were like $100 that I wanted so bad for like 3 years. I'm like, no, I can't buy that for myself.
That's fair.
Mental block. What the hell was that? It was a belief system.
That was the last thing too that I was
that
able
like
to do.
giving to yourself.
Yeah.
Like I just bought a house and I'm like, what? And the thought came up again. I'm like, do I deserve this house? What if all of my money goes away into the garbage pail and I lose all of the momentum that I've built? Like my brain did that. And then I'm like, buy yourself the house, girly. Like you work so hard. You deserve the thing, It doesn't have to just go to other people. It should also
it can also go to you.
energetically go to yourself when you make
Yeah,
money.
so now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy myself an effing treat. Did you know? So I signed up for this course because I can't stop like taking classes, even though I told myself I would. Even though I told myself that I wasn't going to take any more classes. It's like a cognitive behavioral class. So I signed up for this class and I started taking it. But did you know that like you're way more likely to do something like that you don't love doing? That's not a pleasant treat if you give yourself a little treaty treat after. Like running. So like the people who they did a study and I'm going to totally butcher this, but the people who would like run and then got chocolate after continued to stay consistent if they got their little treaty treat after.
So how do we frame that for marketing? So after you do your content planning and scheduling on a Monday,
You get Starbucks delivered to your house.
you get yourself Starbucks delivered to your house.
Consistency and figuring out who the hell you're talking to at the end of the day. Like that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what we came here to talk about. And I think that we've kind of like did as much as we could in this episode. So what I want to say is that I hope that you got something out of this. I know that you probably did. It's super valuable information, and we would love to dive in deeper with you. We are launching Service Evolution Academy, which means we are going to be working not just with hairstylists, but with all service industry people, okay? Whether you are a yoga instructor, a massage therapist, an esthetician, you have a business like a spa or a wellness center or a retail store or even a restaurant, we are working with you now. So if you're a hairstylist, there's going to be one link. If you are not a hairstylist, there's going to be another link in the show notes for you to get on a call. We get everybody on a call first because we do not need you to spend your money unless we feel like you're a good fit for us. We won't know that until we dig into your business. I do not like leave a link and let anybody sign up for anything because we get to choose who comes into our circle energetically, and we get to like really decide, can I really help this person? Because there have been times where people were like, I really want to do this, and we're like, no, this is not our wheelhouse, or we're not going to be able to help you, or this is something like outside of our spectrum, basically. So
Right. Integrity to us is the most important thing. I actually named the Service Evolution Academy Calendly link an interview because it really kind of is. Whoever you get on a call with, someone from our team is going to be diving in with you and seeing if it's a good match and what can become possible if it is.
We'll put the extension certification link below as well because it's the same thing with that. Yes, you are getting on a freaking Zoom call, okay? I don't like talking on the phone either, but you got to get over that shit, okay? And just get on the call and do it for yourself if it's what you want to do. And we're really excited to be able to like open up to more people because the demand is there. People have been wanting this for a long time. And finally we're like, okay, we're doing great in other areas. We can a little bit step to the side and create this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
super excited. It's our heart and soul. All of it is. We don't do anything outside of that.
No, we are in our passion over here,
We are
and
living
we want
in
to
our
bring
passion.
you in.
So make sure that please like and subscribe to this podcast and leave a review, because like no one's going to see it if you don't leave a freaking review. And if you think like I have people write to me all the time and they're like, I love your podcast. And I'm like, well, did you press the like button, the 5 stars? Did you leave a little review? Because like doesn't get me that far.
That amount of time you took to send me that text,
You
you could have wrote it. Yeah.
and then just screenshotted it to me. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye. See you next time.
In gratitude, Nikki and Jackie.
Until next time, Nikki and Jackie.
Okay, whatever. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Slice Squad Spills. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe, leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback is going to help us improve and attracts more listeners to the show. Please share with your fellow time slicers. And hey, if you're ready to optimize your time and double your income, we've got you covered.